Yeah, there's some truth to a lot of stuff. Because I've seen some stuff that there is no explanation for. And I've had things happen. I had a case just in August that the evil that I was going to go to the house to on a Sunday to go do a house blessing, the evil that was there knew I was coming. I didn't even know I was coming to this house. And on a Thursday, before the Sunday, a friend of mine called me and said, hey, can you do this house blessing? However, that was at 7:15 p.m., but at 7 p.m., another medium friend I hadn't talked to for a while called me up out of the blue and said, hey, this evil's channeling through me saying that you're going to come face it on Sunday. And I'm like, what are you talking about? 7:15, my friend says, hey, we want to come to this house blessing. And it was the same one. So that's mind-boggling stuff that is just, you can't write that in a script, and it really happened. And that's not even wait. Oh my God! Then when I get there, it was extremely strong and powerful. Let me put it like that. And I'd seen it and I faced it, and it was very real to me. And I made it through it. We all lived, but there was a lot of things that happened that were just freaky, and everything knew about what I was going to do except me till last minute. And how do you explain that?
Well, I don't know. Now you go out and you look for spirits and ghosts and all these entities in people's houses or graveyards or other places, correct? So I guess maybe even voodoo would kind of fall into it, because if there's ghosts, right? There's entities, both evil and non-evil, whatever, floating around in people's property, then I guess witchcraft must be actually real, along with being able to cast spells, because it all falls into it.
It does. There's a little bit, it's the old saying, even no matter what legend there is or lore or whatever, it's always based on a little bit of truth. And you mix that in with the power of the mind, and I'm going to tell you something. It takes hold. Just like the internet, there's a lot of internet stories like the Slender Man and all these things. After a while, the power of the mind of the mass amount of people brings this stuff to be a real entity that existed from nothing more than created from the power of a mass people's mind. So these things can happen, and it's a lot of psychokinesis and all this stuff, but it's a field we haven't even begun to tap into. So it falls under the paranormal, but there's a lot of stuff out there. If people really knew, they would be scared to go out, much less in the woods. That's a whole other paranormal field, which I know you know about.
Well, yeah, but I'm not even going to talk about Bigfoot in the woods. I mean, there's so many things out in the woods, that have happened, right? Evil things, like where you were that time many years ago where you saw the occult running around a fire, and they just weren't singing dippity-doo, I'm here to kill you. They were just running around a fire, right? And if I remember right, you said there was a goat there they were going to sacrifice or something?
Yeah, this was 1988, Halloween night, and I was on the East Coast, and I had a friend that lived there. I wasn't from there, and I'd only been there for maybe 6 months. And on the weekend, I would go investigate places, and he knew all the local nice spots to go to, that you don't hear about that are very haunted. And I'd always did it by myself anyway. And this night I say, give me a good place. It's Halloween night. Give me something. So he wrote that, give me a little letter with directions. And sometimes he would show me or tell me about it. And he didn't say much, and he just left. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And so anyway, I go there, and and he said, he told me what to do. I parked the truck. It's in the middle of the woods. And it was in Rhode Island, and I'm going through the woods. It's approaching midnight, and I can hear faintly, I don't know, noise or chanting or people talking. I couldn't really make it out, and then I could see once over a hill, you can see when somebody's got a fire, you can see a light, but you can't see the light, so to speak. So I'm stealthily crawling up over this log because I don't know what's going on. I am in the middle of the woods around midnight in a state I don't really know that well. So I peek up over, and there's, I don't know, 12, 13 of them. There's a goat there. They all got robes on. It looks like they're having a barbecue. But I wasn't going to disturb this barbecue because once I peeked up over that log and seen, there's a goat tied there. The guy's got a knife. There's a table. There's a bonfire. They got these cloak robes on and they're chanting around and carrying on. I'm like, oh hell no, I'm backing up out of here. I very stealthily got out of there. Now, the weird part is, you fast forward to that another 25 years or 28 years, whatever it is, 28, 27 years. That movie, The Conjuring, come out. I never knew none of this, but that was the land. It was just right next to there where all that witch was and all that haunted stuff. That was right where it was on that land. And it's like, and the other thing was, that time period, there was a satanic cult in that area, in around Fall River area in Massachusetts. They were abducting homeless people and prostitutes, and they were sacrificing and killing them. And it was going on all through the 80s there, and it was bizarre, real stuff. And I didn't know it at the time. And fast forward, I've seen that movie and realized I put all these pieces together. I was like, oh, hell no, what was I doing in that woods? What was wrong with me? And it kind of freaked me out. Well, lucky they didn't see me, yeah.
Especially by yourself. I mean, I don't even know how you had the courage, or even I wouldn't do it. And I'm not worried about, running in a bit. You don't know what you're going to find when you go into places, especially where you went in. I mean, let's face it, if they would have seen you, maybe they wouldn't have they would have sacrificed you, because they probably would have killed you no matter what, because they don't want they don't want outsiders to know where they're doing their rituals are. So, I mean, You would have been a threat no matter what. So I guess.
Well, the old standby, you don't leave witnesses. Well, I was a witness. I'm glad they didn't. Believe me, I was close, but not real close. I was glad they didn't hear me or see me. Believe me, I was very stealthy. I really backed out of there real slow until I got a little bit of ways where I thought, they're not going to hear me. I'm running. And I took off running to the truck.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, you're at least lucky enough where you got away. How many people you think it maybe stumbled on these occults and didn't get away?
Right, absolutely. And the other weird thing was, this is very bizarre, but about 2 years ago, I was watching this old movie from like the early 70s that had Henry Fonda and Warren Oates, and they were going camping with their wives in this RV out in the middle of nowhere in California, and they basically did the same thing. They stumbled upon this group of people doing kind of the same thing. I mean, they had a person, they didn't have a goat, and they got caught. Well, once they seen them, they followed them, and then they harassed them for like a week trying to kill them and stuff. And I was like, oh, Lord, that could have been me. The same kind of scenario. It was chilling.
Well, that's all the things you have to worry about. So I tell people, young people still hitchhike, including a couple of they're not so young anymore, but when they were like 17, 16, a couple of my kids had no problem hitchhiking. And I kept saying, you don't know what that car you're getting in, because they could be a serial killer, or they could have, whatever. And you're getting into a car that you might not come out of. I mean, is it worth it? Because you want to go do something to get into a stranger's car?
Exactly. And, the weird part was, I can remember I had some older friends in the mid to late 70s. They would hitchhike all the way from Ohio clear to California and back. Matter of fact, my two friends, they were older than me, but they were two brothers. They left at the same time, and they came back. They left California at the same time in two different vehicles. They came home a week apart, but even back then, people like Ted Bundy, they were picking up hitchhikers and, doing all kind of crazy things to them. And that was 40 years ago. Now, fast forward today, there's a lot more deranged people with technology that's out there doing those things. I wouldn't hitchhike. It wouldn't bother me, but Lord, I don't know. I wouldn't want people to hitchhike. You never know what's going to happen. It's like that old, like you used to say, the Twilight movie where we're here to serve man, the aliens. Only you're going to dinner, but you are the dinner.
Well, not just that, okay? I would even, if you're a normal person, okay, and you decide you're going to pick up a hitchhiker, right? How do you know that the person you pick up isn't some crackpot? So
exactly.
you might pick up a serial killer yourself. It's sitting next to you while you're driving, or you might pick up a luscious young woman, right? And you're married for 25 years, and hey, it gives you outlet to flirt, right? And then all of a sudden you pick up this lady, right? And all of a sudden she goes, I want $100. And you go, I don't have $100. Well, if you don't give me $100, I'm gonna tell the police you raped me. I mean, I'm saying when you pick up a hitchhiker, you're asking for major problems. Now, you're lucky if you get away without nothing, but I mean, it's a two-way street. Number one, don't pick up anybody. Number two, don't hitchhike.
Yeah, honestly, you just don't know. And you're right, it goes both ways. The sad part is there's a lot of predators out there, and they're not just bears and cougars. It's people. There's a lot of predators out there that are people that will prey on, nice people giving them rides or hitchhiking or whatever. So yeah, I don't suggest doing it at all.
Well, I wouldn't. I know from my first wife, she had a friend, and I'm not going to say her last name, but her first name was Marilyn, right? She hitchhiked. And then what happened is the guy that picked her up, right? She reported him as raping her.
Oh, my
Okay,
goodness.
well, the guy went to prison. Okay? And then it came out after he was in prison for 2 years. It came out that Marilyn lied. What happened is she got pregnant from her boyfriend who ditched her. She was like 17 years old, and she didn't want to tell her mom and dad, I've been, fooling around with my boyfriend, and I got pregnant, and he took off. So she used some excuse that she hitchhiked, guy picked her up and raped her. Well, that poor guy, went to prison for 2 years. 2 years out of his life of living hell. And when you go a prison for like rape and doing things like that, you're not on a very good list with the other prisoners. So, a lot of them would probably put a shank in you if they had a chance. And this
you're on the bad list. You're right.
Yeah. But the thing is, she really, didn't really feel that bad. I mean, she finally confessed. I don't know how it came out that she lied. But you know what? It was no big deal to her, okay? She was happy. The guy's out of jail now. Yeah, but how about the 2 years of living hell you put the guy through? His reputation and all this stuff. And, once you get labeled as a sex offender and all that stuff, does that go away?
Nope. And, it's sad that the people that falsify things like that they don't be punished at least the same, if not a little bit harsher than what they did. Because I'm going to tell you something. Wielding the power of your words to put somebody away for 2 years and basically ruin their life and tarnish them, that is as dangerous a weapon as anything. I mean, think about it.
Well, I do remember this much, okay, that she was 17 years old. When they filed charges on her for what? They didn't file charges on her as an adult. Now, come on. Most states would file. Because she was a girl, right? And she had a baby, I guess, and to make it easier to prosecute. She copped a plea deal, right? So they tried her as, even though she was no longer a minor, they treated the whole thing as she was a minor, okay? And she ended up on probation. Okay, I got probation. I did the right thing. I told a lie, and the guy went to prison for 2 years. Hey, I got a slap on my wrist. Oh, well.
That's like saying, 4 months ago you were a minor, so now you're an adult, and in that 4 months, you learned so much and you grew so much mentally and changed so much that we understand and we can't hold you accountable for what you did when you were a minor 4 months ago because you just didn't know better. But now you've grown into it and you understand everything's okay. That's bullcrap. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah. But how about like in the prisons and stuff? There's been like 9-year-old boys or a 9-year-old boy. I remember the case very vaguely, but this is going back maybe 5-6 years ago. That his father started dating, and I guess he was jealous, that his father was dating this woman and not giving him the attention. And I don't remember how it came about, but he decided to take a rifle and he killed his father.
Oh my!
Okay,
goodness.
And the whole story is he was tried, and it was one of those Midwest states. He was tried as 9 years old. He was